The inspector is correct. According to the National Electrical Code, a weatherproof box on a roof must be supported by 2 conduits or other means approved for the purpose. This is because a single conduit is not strong enough to adequately support the box and its contents in the event of high winds or other adverse conditions. The 2 conduits must be secured to the box and to the roof deck, and they must be spaced far enough apart to provide adequate support. The conduits must also be of sufficient size to accommodate the wires that are being run to the box. If you are not able to install 2 conduits to the box, you may be able to use other methods to support it, such as a mounting bracket or a crossbar. However, these methods must be approved for the purpose by the local electrical authority. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, sets the standard for safe electrical installations. Its purpose is to protect people and property from hazards that can arise from the use of electricity. The code is updated every 3 years to incorporate new technologies and best practices. The specific requirement for supporting weatherproof boxes with 2 conduits addresses concerns about wind load and mechanical stability. A single conduit, especially a smaller size like 1/2 inch ENT, might not provide enough resistance to bending or breaking under wind pressure, especially if the box is exposed and catches the wind. Think of it like a flagpole. A single thin pole can bend or snap easily in a strong wind, but 2 poles spaced apart and rigidly connected to the box would offer much greater stability. When installing 2 conduits for support, there are several key considerations. Firstly, the conduit should be securely fastened to the weatherproof box. Use appropriate connectors listed for the purpose, ensuring a tight and weatherproof seal. Secondly, the conduits must be adequately secured to the roof deck. This usually involves using appropriate straps or clamps designed for attaching conduit to the roof structure. The spacing between the conduits is also important. They should be far enough apart to provide a stable base for the box. The exact spacing will depend on the size and weight of the box, as well as the expected wind loads in your area. However, a good rule of thumb is to space them at least several inches apart. Conduit size is another factor. The conduits must be large enough to accommodate the wires being run to the box, but they must also be strong enough to provide adequate support. For most applications, 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch ENT conduit will be sufficient, but larger sizes may be needed for heavier boxes or areas with high wind loads. If using alternative support methods, it is crucial to ensure they are approved by the local electrical authority. This means they must meet specific requirements for strength, durability, and resistance to corrosion. Mounting brackets should be made of corrosion-resistant materials and designed to withstand the expected loads. Crossbars should be similarly robust and securely attached to the roof structure. The electrical authority having jurisdiction, or UJ, has the final say on whether an installation meets code requirements. It is always a good idea to consult with the AHJ before starting any electrical work, especially if you are unsure about the applicable codes or standards. They can provide guidance and ensure that your installation is safe and compliant. In summary, the NEC requires 2 conduits for supporting weatherproof boxes on roofs to ensure adequate stability and resistance to wind loads. The conduits must be securely attached to the box and the roof deck, and they must be spaced appropriately. Alternative support methods may be used, but they must be approved by the local electrical authority. Always consult with the AHJ to ensure code compliance and electrical safety. Understanding the reasoning behind this requirement is essential for ensuring safe and compliant electrical installations on roofs. The NEC guidelines aren't just arbitrary rules. They are based on engineering principles and real-world experience, designed to minimize the risk of electrical hazards and protect property from damage. The use of 2 conduits distributes the load and provides redundancy. If one conduit were to fail due to corrosion or mechanical damage, the other would still provide support, preventing the box from falling and potentially causing a hazard. The requirement for secure attachment to the roof deck is also critical. The conduits must be firmly anchored to the roof structure to prevent them from being pulled loose by wind forces. The type of attachment method will depend on the type of roof construction. For example, On a wood-framed roof, screws or lag bolts can be used to secure the conduits to the rafters or trusses. On a metal roof, specialized clamps or brackets may be required. When selecting conduit, it's important to consider the environmental conditions. EMT conduit is suitable for most indoor and outdoor applications, but in corrosive environments such as coastal areas, galvanized rigid conduit or PVC-coated conduit may be necessary to prevent corrosion. The size of the conduit must also be adequate to accommodate the number and size of conductors being run to the box. The NEC provides tables that specify the maximum number of conductors allowed in different sizes of conduit. It's important to consult these tables to ensure that the conduit is not overfilled, which can lead to overheating and insulation damage. If you are using a mounting bracket or crossbar as an alternative support method, make sure it is listed for the intended use. Listed products have been tested by a recognized testing laboratory to ensure they meet specific safety standards. The listing mark will be displayed on the product. When installing electrical equipment on a roof, it's important to take precautions to protect against water damage. Weatherproof boxes and fittings should be used to prevent water from entering the electrical system. The roof penetration should be properly sealed to prevent leaks. Flashing should be installed around the conduit to divert water away from the penetration. Regular inspections of roof-mounted electrical equipment are essential to identify and address any potential problems. Check for signs of corrosion, water damage, or loose connections. Repair or replace any damaged components promptly to maintain the safety and reliability of the electrical system. In addition to the NEC requirements, local building codes may also have specific requirements for roof-mounted electrical installations. It's important to check with the local building department to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Proper planning and careful installation are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of roof-mounted electrical equipment. By following the NEC guidelines and best practices, you can minimize the risk of electrical hazards and protect property from damage. Remember to always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns about electrical installations. They can provide expert advice and ensure that your work is done safely and in accordance with the applicable codes and standards. The requirement for 2 conduits, or approved alternative support for weatherproof boxes on roofs is not just about meeting code. It's about ensuring the long-term safety and reliability of the electrical system. Roofs are exposed to harsh weather conditions, including wind, rain, snow, and extreme temperatures. These conditions can take a toll on electrical equipment, so it's important to use robust and durable materials and installation methods. By providing adequate support for weatherproof boxes, you can prevent them from being damaged by wind or other forces. This can help to prevent electrical hazards such as short circuits, ground faults, and fires. It can also help to extend the lifespan of the electrical equipment and reduce maintenance costs. The NEC is a living document that is constantly being updated to reflect new technologies and best practices. It's important to stay informed about the latest changes to the codes so that you can ensure your electrical installations are safe and compliant. The NEC is available for purchase from the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and other sources. You can also find information about the NEC on the NFPA website. In addition to the NEC, there are other resources available to help you with electrical installations. These include textbooks, training courses, and online forums. By taking advantage of these resources, you can improve your knowledge and skills and ensure that you are performing electrical work safely and correctly. The NEC is a complex document, but it's essential for anyone who works with electricity to have a good understanding of its requirements. By following the NEC guidelines, you can help to prevent electrical hazards and protect people and property from harm. The use of 2 conduits for support isn't just a rigid rule, but an application of sound engineering principles. It addresses several key factors that contribute to the stability and safety of roof-mounted electrical equipment. These factors include, firstly, wind load. Roofs are subject to significant wind forces, especially in areas prone to high winds or storms. A single conduit may not be able to withstand these forces, leading to bending, breakage, or even complete detachment of the box. Two conduits, properly spaced and secured, distribute the wind load and provide a more stable support system. Secondly, mechanical stress. The weight of the box, combined with the weight of the wiring and any connected equipment, can place significant stress on the conduit. Over time, this stress can lead to fatigue and failure of the conduit, especially if it is not properly supported. Two conduits share the load and reduce the stress on each individual conduit. Thirdly, vibration. Roofs can vibrate due to wind, traffic, or other factors. These vibrations can loosen connections and weaken the conduit over time. Two conduits provide a more rigid and stable support system that is less susceptible to vibration. Fourthly, corrosion. Roofs are exposed to harsh environmental conditions, including rain, snow, sun, and pollutants. These conditions can cause corrosion of the conduit and other metal components. Two conduits provide redundancy in case one conduit corrodes or fails. Fifthly, safety factor. The NEC typically incorporates safety factors into its requirements to account for uncertainties and variations in materials and installation methods. The requirement for two conduits provides an additional safety factor to ensure the long-term reliability of the support system. The requirement for two conduits also promotes good workmanship. It forces installers to take extra care in planning and executing the installation. This can lead to a higher quality installation that is less likely to have problems in the future.